In the French colonies along the coast, the scene was both the same and different. Dakar, capital of Senegal, actually the little suburb of Rufisque, a charmingly nostalgic place. Senegal was France's oldest colony in tropical Africa, and one where the French presence, like that of the British in northern Nigeria, could easily be absorbed. Generally, the French ran their colonies on much the same system as the British, but there was one important difference. The British thought that their Africans could never become anything but Africans, and certainly not British. The French idea, on the contrary, was that in the end, at some distant time, all their Africans would become black Frenchmen. The culture and the language of France were offered as the eventual supreme blessings. This idea was called assimilation. Originally, this was a generous idea, but colonial rule reduced it to little or nothing. Yet in 4 municipalities of coastal Senegal, assimilation did take effect. This picturesque island of Gorée, just off the port of Dakar, was one. Here you could go to school and even become a French citizen. But you belonged to a tiny minority. By 1926, only 48,000 Senegalese had become assimilated out of a total of 1.5 million. The Senegalese historian, Professor Cheikh Anta Diop, explains.
C'est en fait certain, dans la pratique, ce n'était pas possible. Et dans la pratique, il y a eu 4 communes. Ici au Sénégal et partout ailleurs, pratiquement, c'était le système de l'indigénat. Donc, à cause du rapport numérique, la politique d'assimilation n'était pas applicable sur le terrain.
One man from Gorée Island who did make it and carved out for himself a brilliant career was Blaise Diagne. Of humble origins, but Diagne became the first black man to be elected to the French National Parliament in Paris. He campaigned for black rights and began to win concessions. That was in 1914. During the First World War, an embattled France called for tens of thousands of African troops as Flanders swallowed its victims. Blaise Diagne agreed to be France's recruiting sergeant, and his African reputation vanished in the slaughter.
Guerre. Ku la force wu doo dem ci guerre. Ku la force wu doo dem ci guerre. Dañu ma force. Dañu ma forcé jële ma ci suma loxinde ak suma papa yóbbu ma. Aw ma ci sañ-sañ bañ. Aw ma ci sañ-sañ bañ moo tax ma dem. Xam nga ku la bëgg yóbbu ci guerre du la neex. Gannaaw xamuloo ko.
France had long relied on African mercenaries, even as far back as the Crimean War. But now it was different in scale and in suffering. More than 200,000 African troops, mostly conscripts, were sent to France. And at least 170,000 were thrown into the Holocaust of the trenches. Thousands never came home. Others returned with an experience that survivors have still not forgotten.
xeex nañu ak Allemagne yi rey nañu leen ñi la ñuy dog seen baat ñoom dog suñu baat ñi la ñuy dog seen ndox ñu dog seen ndox ñi lañ jël di ñëw nekk gumba ñi la dal di ñëw nekkul dara nekkuñu dara ah waaw lox ci ma loxo bi ci la bokk ci la dog benn bala ngi ni bu génne si fii mu ngi ni le benn bal mu ngi ni buggi bi meer mu ngi ni buggi dal fi génne si fii mu ngi.
Shoulder to shoulder, white men and black men, equal in the trenches. Were they now to become equal in the colonies? Only the monuments suggested that.